Where is he? There he is. (1868) January. Okay. The Shinsengumi's bittersweet return to Edo came following the defeat at the Battle of Toba Fushimi. I slid open the door to Sanan-san's office and found him with his nose buried into a stack of research notes we'd found under a floorboard at my old house.
おや、雪村くん。まだ起きていたのですか？
あ、Sanan-san、こんばんは。
夜更かしは体に触りますよ。江戸に戻ってきてからろくに休んでいないのでしょ？
It's not that bad. The last thing Sanan-san needed to add to his list of worries was concern for my health, so I tried to dismiss it, but he saw right through me.
おや、そうなのですか？人手不足と聞いていたので、てっきりいろいろと雑用を言いつけられているのだと思っていましたが、他の大使が忙しくしている中、一人のんびり休んでいられるほどずぶとい神経の持ち主には見えませんし。
Well, I'm a little tired, but it was a cunning observation, and I was reminded how keenly aware Sanan-san was, and always had been. In all honesty, I hadn't desired to dwell on my own exhaustion, and came to discuss something else. So, have you found anything in those documents? Seems like you've been hard at work too.
少しずつ読み進めてはいますが、難航していますね。
What do you mean?
蘭語や仏語で書かれた資料が何冊かあるのですが、あいにく語学には明るくないもので。
Sanan-san, is it all right for me to take a peek at the notes?
君が？
My father actually gave me some basic Dutch language books when I was younger. I may be of some help to you. This is news to me!
君の手を煩わせるほどのことではありませんよ。部屋に戻って休みなさい。
No, really, I'm fine. I'm more resilient than you think. Sleep deprivation is nothing to me.
君は羅刹隊の大使ではありません。たとえこの新選組に落ち水を持ち込んだのが君の父上だったとしても、責任を感じる必要などありませんよ。
I hadn't taken it that way. I merely thought that I could be useful for you. Who knows what may come of it, Sanan-san? Just let me take a peek, please.
雪村くん。
Sanan-san's eyes looked back at me dubiously beside the glow of candlelight, and they kept their gaze fixed on me until...
どこまでお人よしなのでしょうね。長い間君を軟禁していた我々に協力したいなどと言い出すとは。御しやすくて助かりますが、そうも素直だとかえって心配になってしまいます。
I apologize.
叱ったわけではないのですが、まあいいでしょう。君がそこまで言うのなら遠慮なく利用させてもらいますよ。
What? His demeanor had drastically changed from that of 5 minutes ago, and I tilted my head in confusion.
どうしたのです？手伝いたいのではないのですか？
I'm not hesitating. I'm here for whatever you need. If you can think, then I can do it.
そういうところが心配だと言っているのですけどね。そうですね。それではまず お茶を2人分入れてきてくれますか。
Oh, look, an error. It should say this hour. Tea?
はい。あなたが入れるお茶には羅刹体の、ひいては新選組の運命がかかっているのです。
Yo, hold on, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Didn't Hijikata say the same damn thing? I feel like it did. I think it was back in Fudodo.
最高のお茶を入れてきてください。期待していますよ。
Understood. I shall prepare some at once. With that, I bowed my head and rushed over to the kitchen, putting a hot kettle over the fire. The fate of the Shinsengumi rests upon this tea, and I couldn't disappoint him. I couldn't help but giggle, thinking about something similar that Hijikata had once said to me. I was right! The fragrant scent of tea leaves tickled my nose as I waited for steam to rise from the kettle's spout. Records of service. Alright, where are you, Sanan? There you are. Low romance. Skippy. I wanted to say... I wanted to assure Okita that he wouldn't die from his illness.
ですが、刀を握れる体に戻れるとは限りませんよ。
Sanan-san seemed concerned not with the illness, but rather what Okita valued above all. It was true. Okita had no wish to live long, but instead he couldn't stand to think that his life's purpose would be for nothing if he remained sick. Well, yes, but...
もし本当に再び刀を握りたいのであれば、どんな危険なことでも試すしかない。私は彼にそんな決意を持って欲しかったのかもしれません。
Then Sanan-san appeared lost in his own ruminations, mumbling to himself as if he'd come to a solution.
皆さんには新選組幹部としての覚悟を持ってもらわないといけないようですね。
え？
覚悟。いえ、責任と言ってもいいかもしれません。
The melancholy dripped from Sanan-san's frail voice as he turned away and began to pace. I'd wanted to weigh in with my perspective, but I stopped myself. I had decided to head towards Kondo-san's room, where Yamazaki-san and Inoue had been waiting. So I reproached him. I heard you were killing many people in the enemy camp in cold blood. Is that true? If it is, maybe you're going too far. Sanan-san listened silently, showing no immediate reaction, but he accepted my words. He had neither confirmed nor denied it then. Maybe there was something he'd felt guilty about.
東堂君から何か吹き込まれたようですが、私は羅刹ですから刀を振るうことしかできません。新選組の昼の作戦ができるだけ有利になるように尽力しているだけですよ。
When you put it like that, there wasn't really anything else you could ask him about.
では、私はこれで失礼します。
Sanan-san smiled politely and he walked off briskly. All I could do was watch as he left silently. I truly want to believe that Sanan-san was acting with the best intentions out of pride. But I knew there was a chance Sanan-san was simply murdering out of an animalistic impulse. I just couldn't really convince myself otherwise. For whatever it was worth, though, I hated myself for looking at Sanan-san this way. This is war. There might have been nothing else that Sanan-san could do to justify his methods, let alone his existence. I suppose that I was beginning to realize what it really meant to be a part of the Shinsengumi. Or at least, that's what I'd hoped. Shaking the anxiety away was proving difficult. If Sanan-san's murderous tendencies were the side effect of becoming a fury, what if he couldn't really subdue the feelings from the bloodlust after all? What if in fact he were being driven by it, instead of overcoming it like he told us he did? The burden of this possibility started eating away at me. As morning came, I'd awoken in the same stress. Sanan gave a double take.
それは本当ですか?
In response to what? Sanan, how would you feel I told you that the... Oh, okay. Cure the effects, that's what I thought.
もちろんだとも。君がこの数年もの間本当に苦労してきたのを分かってやれるのは私だけだ。君さえ良ければ娘と共に私のところに来る気はないかね。私は大歓迎だよ。
Up until now, Sanan-san kept his composure steady, but this offer seemed to hit him where it hurt.
それは願ってもないことですが、落ち水によって治った怪我は人間に戻る時も治ったままでしょうか。
もちろんだ。何も心配せずに私のもとに来るといい。
私の左腕がそのまま治るのか。
If all that my father had promised came true, then it would be a true miracle. Sanan-san gazed intently at his left hand, as if the temptation from my father was seducing him.
バカだな。治るわけないだろう。
Kaoru was behind Sanan-san, swinging his kodachi around and around. Then, the blade was aimed directly towards Sanan-san's heart. Sanan-san! Watch out! In a split second, I realized what was happening. I pushed Sanan-san instinctively out of the path of Kaoru's swing. But I didn't think about what would happen after. In Sanan-san's place, the blade struck through me. Kaoru beamed with shock, and I felt each inch of the cold steel force themselves into my chest. But there was no regrets for me, because the Shinsengumi needed Sanan-san. Now more than ever, the Shinsengumi needed him, far more than they ever needed me. Well, that was an end. And here it is. And we're gonna say, ask for a reason, and we're gonna skip over it because we did it in his read already.
とても魅力的な話ですね。その話、力ずくでも聞かせてもらいます。
Sanan-san gripped the hilt of his sword on his hip.
平和的に話し合いたいと思っていたのだが、どうだろうか。
私たちを簡単に見捨てるような行動さんが簡単に教えてくれるとは思っていませんから。ですが、力ずくで聞くことなら今の私でもできそうです。
Sanan-san glanced back at me, lowering his voice so that only I could hear him.
雪村君、先に淀城へ向かいなさい。決して振り向かず、まっすぐに走るのです。
I can't leave you behind, Sanan-san. I'll fight too.
勘違いしないでください。あなたの助力は私の足を引っ張るだけです。それよりもあなたには伝令を頼みたい。今の話を土方君と東堂君に伝えてください。そして私たち羅刹にはまだ未来はあるのだと。さあ行きなさい。
Sanan-san pushed me away, unsheathing the blade from the scabbard on his hip.
羅刹のくせにいい気になるなよ。
三男君、とても残念な結果だ。
そうでしょうか。この左腕にかけて聞き出してみせます。
I promise I'll relay your message. So please, Sanan-san, come back to us safely. These were the only words I could muster. I turned around and sprinted for the exit. As the clang of sharp metal rang behind me, all I could do was run for it. I don't remember how or where I ran. But somehow I managed to pass detection in the streets of Fushimi to head straight for Yodo Castle. Unfortunately, I was shocked to discover that Yodo Castle had defected towards the opposition, meaning I desperately needed to rejoin the Shinsengumi. After even more running, I'd finally made it to Osaka, my legs throbbing for the journey. At Osaka, I had encountered Hijikata-san, as well as the other men who had arrived there for refuge. After explaining what had just happened to both Hijikata-san and Heisuke since leaving the magistrate, including the fates of Inoue and Sanan-san, I fainted. At least, I was able to fulfill my promise to Sanan-san. I had awoken, realizing I'd slept for almost an entire day. Osaka Castle wasn't exactly the fortress that was promised, as it was becoming a chaotic scene while we gathered ourselves for the retreat. As it went, I had heard the Shogunate Army's supreme commander, Lord Yoshinobu, had fled from the war in the middle of the fighting. As the Sacho consolidated their hold within the Imperial Court, they received the distinction of marching as the official Imperial Army. Under such circumstances, engaging them further in war would result in treason from the Shogunate. So the Shinsengumi was forced to return to Edo. We were informed that we were to board a ship that would take all of us there, but... Sorry. Could we wait just a little second longer?
他の奴らは全員行っちまったし、俺たちが最後なんだ。
But Sanan-san might still return. Please, just a little longer. I want to wait just a little longer. Heisuke's face dropped, troubled by my words. I know that I was short of being a hassle to him right then. Heisuke, it seemed, just wasn't in the mood to humor me, sighing as he came closer to me.
悪い。本当はもっと前に渡すつもりだったんだ。でも、三男さんを待ってるお前には言い出せなくて。
Then Heisuke pulled something from his pocket.
これ、お前から聞いた伏見稲荷の神社で見つけたんだ。本当にごめんな。俺、お前に悲しんでほしくなくて。
In Heisuke's hands was a pair of bloody, warped glasses, Sanan-san's. I took it with both hands and pressed it tightly against my heart. Then all of a sudden, I burst into tears, sobbing my broken heart out. Inoue-san, Sanan-san. These men gave their lives for me to escape, and now they were gone. Why did I deserve to still be here? If I hadn't been there, if Sanan-san never tried to save me. I know now that when I return to Edo, I have to leave everyone behind. It's the only way. I gripped his glasses tightly, making a vow to myself that I shall never burden anyone else with me ever again.